Hey, RetconRaider here, back with more Vaporum. Now, I took this footage for use with my review video, but I figured it couldn't hurt to clean it up a little and show off the first level to give you a better idea of what the game is like. Now, right off the bat, you've got an assortment of options to help you fine-tune your experience. You've got a variable difficulty setting, as well as the ability to disable various comfort features like the auto map or manual saving.
Salty stench of sea and chilling gale at my back awakened me from a disturbed dream. Dream filled with familiar voices and fear for my life. The bitter sense of betrayal stemming from the dream was interrupted by a sudden sound. In the distance, a monumental metallic monster, as if grown into the rocks, loomed over the sky. Despite the fear this colossus exuded, I was attracted to it somehow. With nothing to lose, I went after the light. Thorough examination brought nothing. No mechanism to open the door, and no way to get inside. I resigned and sat down to plunge into my thoughts. Then I realized I had no memory of anything before I found myself on the rock. But I felt a strong connection to the giant in front of me. And at that exact moment, a sound echoed through the air, invading my body as if identifying me. I braced myself and entered. I'm inside now, but I'm not sure that's a good thing.
So here we are, in-game. The first level of the tower is basically a glorified tutorial. It walks you through a lot of the basics of what you'll be encountering throughout the rest of the game. In this case, I just need to turn these two valves to reactivate the pumps which power the door. That's about as basic as puzzles get, but don't worry. It gets a lot more complicated in later levels. Let me just say, I love the atmosphere and style of this game. Vaporum does a great job of providing a claustrophobic industrial environment. And here we learn about some more basic mechanics. There's some crates here, but we can't interact with them just yet. Instead, we have to push this larger crate. A lot of puzzles later in the game will involve pushing or pulling things, and this is where we learn how to do that. Now there are barrels here, but again, we can't interact with those just yet, but we'll be back. And we've got another door over here, but it's non-functional. But we can see that there's another pneumatic pump next to it. Given what we learned back in the first room, that means we need to look for another valve. Another very basic puzzle, but hey, this is the first level. Working rig. Wear a working exo-rig beyond this point at all times. Failure to do so may endanger the lives of others and your own. Oh good, a room full of mysterious tubes. Nothing bad ever happens in places like this.
Feels like I'm missing something.
A door we can't pass, another sign talking about exo-rigs, and a mysterious switch. I guess that means it's time to pick our exo-rig. This is the Thama rig. It's your basic caster gear. It makes your gadgets more powerful and lets you use them more frequently. It's useful, but not really my style. And this is the combat rig. Huge bonuses to accuracy and damage, what's not to like? This is my exo rig of choice. And this is the heavy rig, your basic tank rig. This one gives a tremendous amount of bonus health and a 1 in 4 chance of reflecting attacks back at your enemies.
This feels familiar. I don't know why, but it feels like it's a part of me. Wonder if the door lets me through now.
Now that we're kitted out with a proper exo rig, we have access to the basic user interface. Here we can check out my inventory, my basic gear slots, and my currently equipped weapon sets. Here we can take a look at my detailed attributes, mostly offense and defense scores. Here we can see the 9 skill trees I can invest points into once I go up a level. And this is where the game will collect all of the notes and journal entries that I find. But enough of that. Let's begin exploring. There are more barrels blocking our path here, and we still can't interact with those, so we have no choice but to go the other way. Well, more barrels, but more importantly, there's an open locker over here I can investigate. Morning, Kinley. Here's something to get into the new crates with. Need them babies open by the evening. Don't do nothing stupid with it, though. Winnie Bench, Chief Tallier.
This will come in handy. And there's writing on it. Happy anniversary, Gordon. Who's Gordon?
This is obviously the part of the tutorial level where they teach you that you can smash open containers. You'll usually end up doing that to clear paths, but sometimes there'll be items inside. With our trusty crowbar, we could go clear that path now, but you'll remember that we passed at least 2 stacks of containers on our way over here, so let's backtrack for a moment. Oh ho, and there's our first secret. This secluded nook looked like a perfect place to hide my, dirty mags. Nothing beats Fancy Nancy, you know, but some jackass stole them. Hope they don't know they were mine. Adam Cray, Tallier. Now, as far as secrets go, this is pretty tame. This one just gives us a bonus repair kit, but it's obviously the tutorial secret, to give us an idea to keep an eye out for this sort of thing in the future. And sometimes a stack of boxes is just a bunch of empty boxes. So, with that done, let's get back to that blocked path and take care of those barrels so we can continue our grand adventure. That little broken robot is, of course, a warning of things to come. Oh, what a cute little robot. Oh god! And we're fighting. This, of course, serves as your combat tutorial. The enemy's pretty weak and basic, and you have ample opportunity to predict its attacks, move out of the way, and counterattack. But, as with the puzzles, it only gets more difficult from here.
Well, that was unpleasant. I need a key.
Well, like the man said, he needs a key. So I guess that means we're going through the other door. Beware. Pay attention when working near ground shafts and holes. Sage advice. Now, I'm just spitballing here, but that might be a warning to not walk into this gaping pit. Which is a shame, because it's right in front of the door we need to go through. Fortunately, there's a rather conspicuous crate right over here, so I think that gives us a pretty good idea of what we need to do. And there we go. Hopefully there was nothing important in that crate. Aha! More lockers. And where there's lockers, there's loot. Whoa! Guess what I found in the crates that came in yesterday? Guns! Lots of them! Couldn't help myself and took one, just in case, might be some sort of meltdown. You never know. This now looks more likely, as I heard more experiments went a bit wonky up there in the labs. God knows what they're cooking up. But why the hell do they need guns? And so many of them. Ben Kinley. Tallier. And that, of course, gives us our first firearm.
Now we're talking.
We'll go ahead and equip that in our second weapon set. We won't always be able to rely on just smashing our way through things with crowbars. And there's that key we've been hunting for. They sent me a new lad, name's Ben Kinley. Not sure why, but he seems to crave the hard work here. Don't know what's so lovely about hauling crates all day long, but he's a good kid. Maybe he wants to impress the big shots from upstairs to get a warm place on the fueling unit or something. Ha! Too bad no admin ever comes down here to see us. This is the dump that no one cares about. Winnie Bench, Chief Tallier. And with the opening of this door, you can now hear an enemy approaching in the distance. So let's quickly move out to meet him in an area where we have room to maneuver. This is another pretty basic fight against a fairly simple foe. We just need to dodge his attacks and keep strafing around him, striking whenever the opportunity presents itself. And I've gotten a little turned around here, a common hazard after a strafe-heavy battle. But let's get back to that locked door and make use of this rusty key.
I need a key.
Now we can hear the ominous hiss of escaping steam. Ah, and that would explain it.
This might hurt.
Our first environmental hazard. This jet of steam is continuous, but there's an obvious alternate path, and a valve to turn. So, problem solved. And here's a repair kit lying on the ground just in case we didn't make it through the steam unscathed. This would actually be our first repair kit if we hadn't found that secret earlier. And now things start getting a little more dangerous. We've got another simple little fight on our hands, but this time we're dealing with much more cramped terrain. And it's important to note that this flying enemy can move into spaces that we can't access. So that's something we have to keep in mind in future battles. Whoops. Hopefully he didn't drop anything important. Obvious pressure plate is obvious. Well, the door only opens when the pressure plate is weighed down, so obviously we need to find something to hold it down for us. This brick should do nicely. And a miniature record player. How adorable.
A phonodiary. Maybe with these I'll learn more about this place.
I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. Studying at the Supreme Bureau University comes with prestige, sure, but now I can start my career. Finally. As one of the proud draftsmen for the head architect of the Bureau, the Ark's Vaporum is partly my doing. The tower is a testament to our technological advances. The ARCS is going to bring about a historical breakthrough once we decipher the substance on the seabed, the marvelous fumium. And we can show the world what it can do. We have such great expectations.
And we're fighting. This time we're up against a cute little clockwork spider. These things aren't very strong, but they are annoyingly quick. So even when you're facing just one of them, it can be tricky to avoid all of their attacks. But as you can see just beyond this crate, you're usually going to be facing more than one of these things at a time. So let's carefully push this crate out of the way, but we need to be ready to back off. Alright, that's one down. Now taking out the other one should be a much simpler task. And there we go, the path is clear. Now, obviously we're supposed to go through this door, but where's the button? Oh, there it is. Well, as usual, you see a crate, you try to push it. Now the door is open, but before we go through there, let's finish poking around the rest of this room in search of other cleverly concealed secrets. Aha! Today I managed to get out for a bit to fetch the new cargo from the ship. Seems like the supplies are getting thinner by the month. Anyway, it was a long, hard shift. I don't mind that much though, as long as I get to breathe the fresh sea air. And you know what's best? Down here, I'm out of sight of the office. Ben Kinley, Tallier. So, this is our second secret. And this time the reward's a little more noteworthy. We've got our first pair of gloves, and we've got our first buckler. Both of which are pretty invaluable for a tank build like mine. And with our new gear equipped, we can continue on our way. And there's another conspicuous pressure plate in our path, which seems to trigger that glowing orb over there. Okay, so this pressure plate activates the door on the other side of the room, but the glowing orb closes the door again. So the obvious solution here is to step on the pressure plate, then block the glowing orb. And we've got incoming. Oh, we've got multiple incoming. If I were a glass cannon build, these things would be a lot more threatening. But since I'm a tank, I can afford to take a few hits. Ground floor armory. Well, that sounds promising. Well, we're clearly supposed to go through that ominous door down there, but let's try our luck with the armory first. Oh dear. Well, this is our first giant elemental roach, and it's got a nasty lunging attack. Whoops, and I've been boxed in by clockwork spiders. Now all I can do is flail away until I've cleared an opening so I can start moving again. Thank goodness I'm a tank. There we go. Move, move.
These creepy little things.
When suffering from deep gashes in the flesh, the target takes a small amount of damage over a short period of time, but greatly increased damage while moving. Mechanical enemies do not bleed. Well, clearly that roach must have been some sort of brilliant doctor. I feel bad about killing it now. So let's see what our reward is for overcoming all those enemies. Ooh, we've got our first rifle. That inflicts heavier damage at a longer range than the pistol, but it also uses ammunition twice as fast. We've also got our first bladed weapon, which is great against organic enemies, but not so much against robots. And here we've got 3 basic armor sets, each geared towards one of the 3 distinct playstyles. Now, I'm wearing a tank exo rig, so wearing the tank body armor might be a bit redundant. Instead, I think I'll shore up my combat score a bit by equipping the combat armor. For now, anyway. And over here we've got a key, a repair kit, and a note. Ever since working here at the sea level floor, I noticed this weird constant sound. It's coming from below. Sounds like pounding. Almost like a heart. Just a huge one. Is it the mining gear deep down there in the sea at the Fumium core? Ben Kinley, Tallier. And now we can head back to check out that ominous door. We didn't look at it before, but I'm sure we'll find a use for this key over there.
I need a key.
Well, how fortuitous. I just happen to have a key right here. Well, we've got another obvious pressure plate in a conspicuously large room lined with doors and containers. Given my sense of impending dread, I think we'll go ahead and clear some extra space here by taking out these containers before we risk triggering that pressure plate. Alright, the battlefield has been prepared. Now let's try our luck with that pressure plate. Okay, just another flying robot. That shouldn't be much of a problem. Whoops, but that giant bug zapper on legs could pose a bit more of a threat. And I backed myself into a corner. Now this electric spider is a good example of an enemy you don't want to go toe-to-toe with in melee combat. Fortunately, I've still got that pistol equipped in my second weapon set. Uh-oh, my health is getting a little low here, so I think it may be about time to use a repair kit.
The spider dropped something. Might be useful.
And as a reward for conquering that basic boss battle, we get our first gadget. The basic discharger, which lets us emulate the spider's electrical attack. Well, it's not like we have any other gadgets at the moment, so we'll go ahead and equip that. When struck by an electric attack, the target's damage output is greatly reduced, and they take some damage over a short period of time. Enemies capable of producing such a shock are resistant to all shock effects themselves. Well, it appears that someone left part of the tutorial lying on the floor. And that switch opens the door we're obviously supposed to go through.
This thing from the spider fits into my rig. Let's see how they like being shocked.
And there we have our obvious gadget tutorial. And as a bonus, we go up a level. The stairs there mark the end of the first level, and a reward for finishing it is a small Fumium capacitor, which is basically some extra experience points. Now I think this marks a good stopping point, but I hope this has given you a better idea of what Vaporum has to offer. Yes, things have been pretty easy so far, but like I said before, this was basically a tutorial level, designed to teach the player the basics of the game. There are 11 more levels after this one, each of them bigger, deadlier, and more complicated than the last. So really, this level barely even covers 5% of the game's total content. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment if you'd like to see more videos about Vaporum. I do enjoy playing Vaporum, but I'm a bit hesitant to continue doing more gameplay videos. This is the kind of game where half the fun is solving puzzles and finding secrets, and I feel like it kind of spoils the whole experience if you watch someone else do it. But like I said, let me know what you think in the comments below. For now, this is RetconRaider, signing off. Thanks for watching. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Vaporum, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website or the official YouTube channel. Links are in the description.